Hello again, I'm back with more business for you. Now, almost 10 years after Ghana began producing crude oil, the National Vocational Training Institute, NVTI, is yet to leverage the opportunities associated. Currently, there exists no program at the institute to train people for the oil and gas market. Executive Director at the Institute, Mausi Deko, says this should be fixed by 2021 with a general revamping of the institute to include modern facilities. She told JoyNews by next year, technical education should also be free.
Exactly what have we done with the various skills that are needed? So for example, in recent times, oil and gas has been topmost on the conversation because of our discovery. We've also had different conversations on even technology, science, technology in using to also bridge the technological gap. Where has the NVTI been in all of these conversations?
In all of these conversations, NVTI has really contributed its quota in spite of the numerous challenges that it has. For instance, the oil and gas industry needs people like people who operate in the electrical space, in welding, and so NVTI trains the youth in welding. But just that, in terms of the oil and gas one, the underwater welding is something that our schools don't do much, and we realize that many of the companies bring people from outside, and having realized that there's a gap there, and NVTI schools from next year would be retooled, and so that all those tools and machinery needed for the necessary training in that aspect would be available, and so people could be trained in that. When it comes to the building industry, for instance, we see that in Ghana now, the building industry is really booming, and so NVTI trains many people in concrete technology, in tiling, in aluminium fabrication, in carpentry, and all that. But it will interest you, Mike, that these days NVTI concentrates on or pushes for women to be in the or to enter into the non-traditional livelihood trade areas. So in our school,
that will include what?
That women in non-traditional livelihood areas looks at trade areas that normally you find men in, like tiling. Now in our schools, we train young women in tiling, in draftsmanship, in general electricals, in plumbing, in welding, and all that.
If you look at the funding sources for NVTI, what would you say about the funding sources? How much has been voted for the NVTI, for example, in the year 2019? All these monies, have they arrived? If not, exactly what has been the conversation?
The conversation here is that, for instance, our trainees, NVTI trainees, do not benefit from the free education. Our trainees still pays fees, and that is very challenging, because of the introduction of the free senior secondary school. Many parents awards guidance send their awards and children to the secondary schools, and get very few people coming in. But interestingly, people are now understanding the importance of technical and vocational training.
Now, in other news, economist and business strategist Dr. Jerry Monfant-Combat has criticized the central bank's mode of which the cleanup of the banking sector was implemented. He is concerned Ghana's economy could face a systemic crisis in the post-financial sector cleanup. Speaking at an economic forum, Mr. Combat explains further the impact the cleanup exercise could have on the country's financial markets. There's more in this report.
Economist and business strategist made the prediction at the forum in Accra. He describes the situation as a systemic financial crisis in the wake of the sector's reforms. Dr. Jeremy Fat Combat says the central bank's approach to cleaning up the sector was aggressive and out of touch with modern-day financial regulatory reforms. Speaking to Joy Business, the Economist argues the central bank could have resorted to a different intervention.
I feel that the approach shouldn't have been done that way. If you were there throughout the sessions, you saw how Iceland used its proper positions and transforming a deficit economy into a surplus economy. That was to be that at that point in time, they need stimulus. They need guarantees. They don't need revocations. If you use revocations at that very point in time, the hardship on the economy would be so hard and it would be so great and it would be so enormous.
Meanwhile, Chief Operations Officer at Dalex Finance, Joe Jackson, has lamented the high standard of living in Ghana.
By the time we pay salaries, by the time we service the debt, there is no money left. The reason why you don't feel it is that we are not spending enough on development issues. We are not. So forget even the factor of corruption. As we stand as a country, we are not spending enough.
The Economic Forum by the Policy Initiative for Economic Empowerment also saw some industry leaders exchange thoughts on best ways of making Ghana an investment hub in the short to medium term.
Now, women are being challenged to move beyond paying lip service to make their voices heard and take practical actions to effect the necessary changes in various communities. That's a call from women of the Executive Women's Network, a non-profit organization of women in business and executive positions, ahead of its annual conference slated for October 18. Dedo Kofi is a member of the organizing committee.
This is where women are going to share their real-life experiences of how they've risen through experiences that actually burnt them out. But as we know, if you know the phoenix, that is the bird phoenix, it is known to never die. Even when it dies and it becomes ashes, it rises again. And that's the strength that we have. No matter the situations we go through, we can always rise again. And sometimes you are not able to see it on the face of things because people wear their makeup, they're all smiley, they show up and they're doing what they're doing. But behind it is a lot of things going on. And we want to show it so that people know that it's real. And so when it's happening to you, you don't think it's abnormal. It's the normal thing. But the difference is that some people show up regardless of what they're going through and they get through it. So we will learn from these experiences, which is going to be absolutely amazing. And no one should miss it.
That's all in business news for now. Many thanks for watching. My name is Emmanuel Abuachi.